Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first episode of our Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Tyler, and this is Tim.
What up?
We will be talking about fantasy football, different sleepers, where we think people should go, and weekly updates, as well as including our gambling picks at the end of each episode.
Can't forget about gambling.
No. Our podcast name is Fantasy Football Futures. We will try to put out 2 videos / podcasts a week. You'll be able to find us on YouTube at Fantasy Football Futures as well as on Spotify. Today, for our first ever episode, we are going to start it on sleeper picks. We will each give sleepers with wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, as well as maybe our rookie predictions, who will have the best year. And then we'll try to end the episode giving our NFL picks. Now, with our gambling segment, we might not always do football when football's not going on, especially with the World Series coming up. We'll definitely throw some things in with that. But let's go ahead and get started with our show. And the first thing we are going to do is talk about our fantasy sleepers. Tim, why don't you go ahead and let us know who is a sleeper that you have.
Yep, I'll start it off. I know this one me and you talked about a lot. And we won in our draft about the 9th, 10th round. We've been getting Damien Harrison. You've been going 9th round, then I'll try to go 8th round with him. But I'm actually a big fan of Damien Harrison. He actually led the team last year in rushing attempts with Cam Newton. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Cam Newton's gone. I think week 1, week 2, I think Cam Newton loses Doug Jones. Jones becomes quarterback, and I think Damien Harrison, that's when he starts taking over.
Let me give you a little auto-correction here. His name's Damian Harris, but you're saying Harrison. But yes,
Okay, restart it.
Nope,
Please,
we're not restarting.
We're
right here.
Keep the introduction, but just start from the sleeper again.
Nope, keep that in. But yes, Tim, I would agree. Damian Harris is a solid late guy. The only thing you have to worry about with him in the late rounds is, New England likes to run 3 to 4 running backs, and I don't see them going away from that with Sony Michel as well as James White back there still. But if Cam Newton stays the guy, he can take away some goal line touches. So that's something
the
big.
The thing is, I think Sony's gone. I think I was reading Athletic earlier today, and I think it's about time Belichick says he's done with Sony Michel. I know he was actually picked before Nick Chubb, and they're really high on him, but I just think they're definitely not getting what they want from him, and he'll be gone. He had 23% rush percentage last year, and so that's 79 attempts that they'll be losing when they get rid of Sony. If they keep him, I know that can definitely be a big issue for Harris, and he'll probably not get as many attempts as he would like, but I believe he is gone. And another one who's actually gone is Rex Burkhead. He had 67 attempts last year, and I don't know the exact amount, but I'm going to guess a lot of that is the red zone goal line touches that Damien Harris did not get. So with him being gone, you'll have, I believe, Sony Michel's gone, James White, another year older. I believe that's Damien Harris's backfield for him to lose. I know it's definitely, especially when you're in PPR, if you definitely need a running back that catches the ball. That's something that Damien Harris doesn't do. But I think with how many touches he gets more touchdowns. Someone you're getting in the 8th, 9th round of your drafts is definitely someone you would want to look at.
Yeah, especially with, I like Damien Harris, and the PPR thing changed a lot, but I think Mac Jones, like you said, will eventually take over as quarterback. Cam in his first preseason game didn't look great, but I don't know. I would definitely take Damien Harris late just because of the optimism he has. He's a second-year guy out of Alabama, and last year he still put up solid points and get you at least 10, and his upside for touchdowns this year, especially the Rex Burkhead being gone, is big as well.
Yeah, and also in that game 1, you're talking about good performances. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his first name right. Ramondre Stevenson. They drafted him, I think, in the 4th, 5th round in this year's draft. He went 127 yards, 2 touchdowns, 10 carries. That just pushes Sony Michel at the door even more. Another thing I think you brought up is Patriots never do one running back. And I think it's no more Tom Brady. So I think something's got to change, and with a young guy with Mac Jones coming in, Damon Harris could be that guy. I don't know why I keep saying Harrison. It's Damon Harris.
Yeah, I don't know why either. But yeah, he's definitely one to look at, especially in those late 8-9 rounds. He could be someone that produces, especially late in the season with QB change, if it does happen. I'm hoping it does because I cannot stand Cam Newton, but
No, I can't.
it's something we'll see. But I'll stay on the sleeper train here. I'll go with one of my favorites for this year, and that is Darnell Mooney for the Chicago Bears. He's one that is projected in most, or his average draft position right now is in the late 11th, early 12th round. You look at Chicago, I'm going to bet Justin Fields takes over very quickly. He is another deep ball threat, and that just seems like that's something Matt Nagy loves to do is run the deep ball. So I would take him. He's really their only other receiver outside of Robinson. And he was explosive last year, made some great plays. And I could see his pass attempts, our targets go up, as well as those deep balls with Justin Fields. So that's one guy I think will be big to look forward to in the future.
Yeah, that's another thing when me and you were doing our mock drafts. We keep going back and forth on him. Keep taking him, you take him, kind of going back and forth. Does it scare you a little bit that Andy's going to be probably starting quarterback some?
And it'll be 2 weeks and he's out. After watching Justin Fields, he gives them a dynamic that they haven't had in a while.
Even if they go 2-0?
Even if they go 2-0. They're not going to go 2-0. But if they do, it might be week 3 or 4. But Justin Fields might. I still think there's a. Nagy says Dalton's the starter, but I'm almost guarantee that that's not true right off the riff.
Yeah.
It's like Trubisky with. Who was quarterback there? They signed before him. What was his name? He was a backup, real tall. I forgot his name.
Mike
Glennon.
Yeah.
So I can see that whole situation happening again, but I think Justin Fields is a little bit more ready for this big stage than Trubisky was. But my big thing here still is you're dealing with Matt Nagy, who is a brutal coach, in my opinion.
The more you listen to this, you'll understand that we do not like Coach Nate. He is not a good coach. I think he's really put the Bears down. I think they could have had some of the Trubisky, and I think he just ruined him. So you never know with this dude.
Yeah, I think the Bears have lost all control. Or Nagy has lost control of the Bears. The locker room's not great. I feel like the defense just can't stand them. When you're on the field 90% of the time, it's just not a fun place to be.
Yep. So we'll go over to me. This one is definitely a questionable one. I think this guy has been predicted to be a stud for a while, and just keeps getting injured. But I think if he doesn't get the injuries this year, even though he's starting with a hip flexor, Mike Williams from the Chargers. I do believe the Chargers are going to take that another step this year. Justin Herbert, second year. I think their offensive line got a lot better. Austin Eckler is going to be back. He's going to be healthy. And so I think it's going to be a full package for him. One thing they did lose is Hunter Henry. That's 93 targets that is just being put back on the table. And I think Mike Williams has shown flashes of being the number 2, and especially behind Keenan Allen. I don't expect him to be as good as Keenan Allen. I don't expect him to do anything like that. But I think where he's going in the late, 9th, 10th round, something like that.
I think he's even going later.
Yeah, it might be 11th round. And even with this new news with the hip flexor, you might be able to get him as a pickup. But I think it's definitely a second wide receiver on one of the best offenses in the AFC. I think that's kind of hard to pass up. And also, just came out that the Chargers are not going to try to give him a contract. So his contract year, he's playing for getting paid next year. So hopefully that's can kind of push him a little bit. And if he does ball out, that's someone in the late rounds, pick up in the waivers, as someone that can start for you week in and week out if he's a beast.
See, and that's what I'm looking at. If anything late after the draft waiver pickup, I just don't like Mike Williams at all because of the injury bug and the fact that Keenan Allen is Justin Herbert's security blanket, and I think he will go to them whenever he can. And you have Austin Eckler back, who was hurt a lot last year, so I think you'll see that going away. And it's a new offensive system, so I'm not sure if they'll throw the ball as much as they were.
Mm-hmm.
But with Justin Herbert, I get the point of Mike Williams is an athletic specimen kind of person that can go up and get any ball that's thrown to him and anything, but it's just how long can you trust him? He can go up for one ball and be done for the rest of the week or next 3 weeks. He's just something I don't trust at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't like Mike Williams here. But it's something you can look for as a late waiver pickup if you were to wait till after the draft.
Yep, and then if anything would happen to Keenan Allen, I think that's when he would definitely come up because, like I said, I really believe in Justin Herbert this year. I think he's going to be a beast.
Yeah.
I think he could be in the run for maybe not MVP, but I think they'll definitely give the Chiefs a little bit of a scare in that division. Not going to beat them or anything or win that division, but I think they're definitely the next one in line and probably making the wild card this year.
Well, that's what I think. He has a great chance of going MVP. I think after his rookie season last year,
Mm-hmm.
I think if he throws over 40 touchdowns and keeps interceptions low, he has a really good chance of just winning MVP based on those numbers alone. So I do like the Chargers. I think they will be a solid team. I just don't know who's going to fill in that piece behind Keenan Allen because you have Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. Those two are just are going to put up some numbers this year. It's just really who's that new guy that they're going to find. Mm-hmm. But that's what I just don't know with that. But for me, the one area that I feel like everybody needs to get lucky with now outside, there's 3 guys which is tied in. There's top 3 guys. You got Waller, Kelsey, and what's his
Kittle.
name? Kittle. Jeez, I forgot. He's hurt. But yes, you got those 3 guys. Now, this one is a thrown out there. It could be very far-fetched, but I like Tyler Higbee for the Rams this year. Matt Stafford loves tight ends. Mm-hmm. With Detroit, he loved T.J. Hockenson. It seemed last year they really became to find a connection, and with Gerald Everett being gone, it's pretty much Tyler Higbee's job to lose, and I could just see him and Stafford getting on the same page and really clicking and maybe not putting up huge passing numbers, but the touchdowns will be there, especially with Cam Akers being gone. I don't really know who their goal line threat will be. It's not going to be Darrell Henderson. So that's just one area I think the Rams, especially with Sean McVay too, he's so creative with his offense that I think a guy like Tyler Higbee can put up some points quickly if you need a tight end to at least get you like 10 points a week. That's a touchdown, 30 yards. I think he's very capable of doing that a week.
Yeah, it's definitely tough with like the tight ends because you have the top 3, and then there's a huge drop off. There's not. I guess you could say maybe Mark Andrews, and I even thought Goddard from the Eagles, but it looks like Zach Ertz is sticking around this year.
That's what I think. Yeah,
if you're looking for that guy, I think Tyler Higbee.
Mark Andrews you got to take him if he's there, but like with Lamar Jackson, his feet are too dangerous.
Yep.
J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards down the goal line. How often are they going to trust Lamar to throw it when you have him running or one of the 2 running backs running?
Yeah.
So, but tight end is the trickiest spot, and it's just someone who you could probably get late, even last pick area. Just throw out there.
Yeah, the only problem with that is Stafford's never had a Robert Woods and a Cooper Kupp. He had Megatron, he had Galladay, and he relied heavily on those guys. Yeah. But with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, and it's definitely a different offense. But like you said, losing Cam Akers, are you really gonna trust Henderson to run the ball 3 times? Yeah, I don't trust that one bit. So Higbee, I definitely think Higbee could be that guy. I think a lot of people thought he was going to be that guy last year, and he kind of didn't do as well. But
I think he's kind of been
definitely his.
It's a risk, but it's one person I think for sure that might sneak up late. Like might have a stronger second half of the year than he does first half, just because of the connection with Stafford. But I think McVay might try to utilize more tight ends, but again, it's McVay. You never really know. He can run the ball 60 times one game and then run it 20, so it changes each week.
Yep, that's true. With my next one, I think me and you kind of have an agreement on this one. Well, we kind of did, but with Carson Wentz kind of getting hurt, we really don't know. But I'm sticking with mine. I'm going to go with Michael Pittman. I think he, with the right quarterback, and if Wentz can turn back to being old Wentz, I think you got a great number one and probably top 10, top 15 wide receiver if everything turns out correctly. Last year, you had T.Y. Hilton leading the charge in targets. That he's just going. It's another year for him. They signed him on a 1-year deal, kind of just like it's his last year.
You've been here for 12 years or so.
You say bye. You say have kind of your farewell tour, and it's kind of do a little bit of that. But I think with Wentz needing that wide receiver to step up, I think Pittman's the guy. Last year, he played 3 less games than Pascal, and he only had 10 less targets. So I think even especially at the end, there definitely Pittman was being targeted, and they had Phillip Rivers. I was not a big fan of Phillip Rivers, but I think if you get someone like Wentz that can get out of the pocket and just throw the ball around a little bit. The only problem with it is Michael Pittman is on a team that loves to run the ball. I was big on Jonathan Taylor until they're like, no, we like Hines. We like even
They're going to
Mack.
Marlon Mack was getting high praise.
They're not giving up on him. I think they thought the world of him. He got hurt pretty badly, and they got Jonathan Taylor, who's a beast. I think he's a beast, but you have the 3-headed monster back there that just loses targets, especially to Hines. Hines in the backfield was getting targets left and right. So I think that's definitely an issue. And like we said, like Carson Wentz just being hurt, and who are you going to have? Sam Ehlinger going to throw the ball back there?
Do you trust Carson going back to old Carson too?
Yeah, that's the thing too. If you think he's just going to sell,
I think he'll come back. He won't be as bad as he was in Philly. I think that whole situation there last year is just it was not good for anybody. Doug Peterson was a joke. Lost me money the last week benching Jalen Hurts. So I have no respect for a man like that. But I do like Michael Pittman. But yes, I would take him very late. But my counterpoint to that, there's one man that I think might steal his thunder from the Colts. And it's not on the sheet, but it's Paris Campbell from Ohio State.
Think so?
It's his third year. He's kind of like Mike Williams, though. He's injury prone, hasn't played a full season. I think he's only played 6 games maybe in the last 2 years. So he's one that really has to prove himself. But he is a slot guy, explosive, quick, and one that will take over an offense and someone that can take away a guy like Michael Pittman on the outside just because he is so dynamic in the slot receiver. Yeah. He's quick, runs great routes. In the preseason game, he looked good. He looked like his old self back at Ohio State. So I feel like that's the only issue is they might have too many people they're trying to get the ball to, and with it being Paris Campbell's prove-it year, like, hey, you either do this or we're moving on.
Yeah.
I think it's time he finally shows what he can be, because coming out of the draft in 2018, he was one of the highest praised wide receivers. He's quick. He can do a lot of stuff. He has great hands. So that's my counterpoint to that, and I really think that he will be the one that can balance out Michael Pittman as well as, and then like you said, too, the running backs. But I just don't know how serious Carson Wentz's injury is going to be and how long he's going to be out for. But
yeah, 5 to 12 weeks. That's a huge time.
Yeah.
And it's super weird because I contradict myself a little bit. I'm all on Mike Williams, and he's thinking he's going to be a beast. But the injuries, then when I think of Campbell, I'm just like not super worried about it because of the injuries. So it's very weird that I picked Mike Williams. Then I'm just like, I don't really care about, like, not really focused on Campbell with Pittman. And you're getting him in the 11th, 12th round, something like that. I think that can be. I'm not saying you probably should start him right away, but you get to feel it out a little bit, drafting 11th, 12th rounds. So.
Yeah, that's what. So, I mean, I also put down Jalen Reagor, but I would not, after watching it this weekend, no chance I would stay away from all receivers related to the Philadelphia Eagles. Yep. Because, one, they don't even trust Jalen Hurts, who I think he's not I wouldn't say he's a great quarterback, but he's better than most quarterbacks. He can run. He does make pretty solid throws. He has a better than average arm. and they just seem to always want to just get rid of him or try to find someone else. So Eagles are just a system that I think is blown up from the inside, and it's just not going to work for him. So, and I'm just not even going to talk about him. He was off my sleeper list. He's not one I would think.
Yeah, once we go to the next, when we go to rookies, I was thinking about Devontae Smith too, but between the injury and that mess with the Eagles, I'm staying away from him as well. I was, like we talked about, I was big on him. I like the Smith Hurts combo definitely, and after the injury and seeing kind of what's going on there, I'm staying away from the Eagles.
That's what I mean. Devontae Smith can't take anything. Heisman winner, but yeah, like you said, it's injuries and what the Eagles are as an organization. It's hard to just respect them and grind on with them. So we'll just, with that little segue, we'll move on to rookies who we think will have the best year. And I know this rookie in particular, we both kind of think that he will be one of the better receivers out of this rookie group, as well as one of the overall best rookies, and that's Elijah Moore from the Jets.
Yeah, I was going to put him on my list too, and I was like, I saw you put him down, like, I'll let you take it, but definitely whatever you say, I'm definitely agreeing on because I love him a lot.
That's what, I mean, he's following with DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown, both who are putting up great numbers over the last 2 years, and they think he'll be even better. And just watching him in college, he doesn't really drop footballs, which is something you don't really find, as well as he's a great route runner, puts his hands on everything, catches almost everything. I think in his junior year, he had no drops at all with 189 receptions in 3 years. So that's about 60 receptions a year in college at Ole Miss, playing in the best college football conference. So I just think he's crazy. He's going to be really good. I think he will be able to connect with Zach Wilson. We didn't get to see him because of his injury in his first preseason game, but I wouldn't have any worry about that. I think he will be excellent. Probably the best. I think he'll be the best receiver, but then again, you also got to look at it's the Jets. We don't know what they're going to be like when they're coming back. But I do like Robert Saleh coming in and bringing in this whole new attitude with the Jets not being a laughing stock. And I think Zach Wilson will find a connection with him, and I think Elijah Moore will have a good season. I think he'll get over 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah, I think Zach Wilson will need a blanket to throw to, and I think besides him, they have Corey Davis on.
Yeah, but I mean, Corey Davis he's fifth year.
I think a couple years ago, I'm like, Corey Davis is going to be that guy coming out of college, going to the Titans, and just really drop the ball. So I don't see him taking anything, so I'm really big on Elijah, and I think Zach Wilson will use him as a blanket, and I think 1,000 yards will be pretty easy for him.
That's what I think this year. Him and Corey Davis, I think, will be, because I think a lot of attention early will be on Corey Davis because he, in last year with the Titans, with A.J. Brown getting hurt for a while and really not having anybody else after that, he kind of showed that he can be a solid guy, that one dude that they need. Now, is it going to be like a Tyreek or anybody? No, but I think he will be a solid one that takes enough pressure off a guy like Moore to get him more targets than he wants and everything. And then another stat I had, never mind, that's not a stat I had. But yeah, he's just, I don't know, Elijah Moore. I think he'll be great, and you're getting him 10th, 11th, 12th, really, depending on what you're drafting.
I think we've been kind of getting around where the Mooney, kind of about
that's
the
what
same.
PPR, yeah. If it's PPR, I'm getting around 11, 12, kind of back to back, late 11, early 12. So
yeah, it's going to be a little different for us because we're in a one keeper league, so it might be a little bit earlier for some people who are just doing redraft. So it might be definitely that 12th round.
Might be later too because
I don't know. By the time if you're drafting later on, it could be you see him a couple of times, you see him in camp. You might be getting that 10th round, 11th round. So if you're drafting now, definitely make sure you get him in the 12th round or so.
But then again, do we trust the Jets?
It's going to be a weird thing. I think we're going to be the only podcast that talks good about the Jets for two different players, because now I have Michael Carter is one of the rookies that I'm big on. For the Jets, when you got a bad team like that, they're trying to rebuild. We really like their new coach. We both do. I think you can definitely try to pick out some good rookies that maybe if they're on a different team, maybe wouldn't be able to shine through their first year. And I think this year with Michael Carter, I think he'll get the opportunity. I don't think he'll start. I think they'll have Tevin Coleman. They have him ranked number 1 right now for the Jets at the depth chart, so I think he'll do. But once Tevin Coleman able to keep a backfield, so
And he's injury prone.
Yeah.
That's one thing you
that's the
can't.
thing.
And I mean, all running backs we talked about, all these teams are going to running backs by committee. I mean, why not play the hot hand? Michael Carter could get hot at any moment and kind of break through. But yeah, like Tevin Coleman, he can be great at times.
Yeah,
but
and you got Ty Johnson, and just people that have had their chance and just really haven't done much. So I think this is where. So I have a couple stats from college. So he shared the backfield with Javonte Williams, and he had just splitting in half. I think he had one less carry. They had the same amount of carries, but he had over 1,200 yards, had 25 catches, and 11 touchdowns. Javonte Williams took a lot of his touchdowns the last year. He had a lot more, so I wonder what he would have done if he was by himself in that backfield. How many yards, how many catches. So you're looking at that and you're thinking, oh, in college, like that's pretty good, but what's going to make him stand out? If he doesn't have Javonte Williams there, like he could be close to 2,000 yards, almost 35, 40 catches with probably 20 touchdowns. So I think that's definitely big for him. And then even the year before, had 1,000 yards, 21 catches, 5 touchdowns. So he's definitely targeting the backfield. He does it all. He runs, does everything. And just from 1 year, he went from 5.7 yards per carry to 8. So 8 yards per carry, like you're definitely not going to get that in the NFL, but someone that you know who can take a hit and keep going, that's someone that you definitely need for the Jets, who Wilson can rely on back there.
I mean, yeah, especially with pretty much Jets going, we're rebuilding. We're going to trust these young guys to take us. Why not let Michael Carter take over the reign and just get as many touches as he can early, get comfortable in the NFL because, you know, the game plays, it's not crazy different, but it's a lot different. Mm-hmm. You know, they're faster, bigger. It's just different. So I would like to see, Michael Carter's one that I think if he's available late, I would take him. But there's also guys that I would like more, like Trey Sermon, who kind of is getting drafted around the same time. But again, Trey Sermon's also in the same boat. He's not their number 1.
Yeah,
so.
you get him in our draft. It was late 9th, early 10th. So that's around where Ronald Jones, Trey Sermon, Kenyon Drake. If you need like that second or third running back, Ronald Jones might be kind of what you need. Yeah. Someone that you know what's going to happen. But then if you're kind of looking for that 4th, 5th, trying to look for that standout, Michael Carter and then Trey Sermon as well. Like but they're both going to have like great years. I'm big on Trey Sermon. I think you're about to talk about him. And Kenyon Drake, like he's getting drafted around there, but I'm taking Michael Carter over him anytime.
I wouldn't trust Kenyon Drake as far as I could throw Kenyon Drake. I don't trust him splitting time with Josh Jacobs. They're just two different backs with John Gruden, who I hate his offense if they don't make sense to me. But I wasn't going to talk about Trey Sermon, but Trey Sermon and him, Michael Carter, are guys that I think might not produce right away, but they're guys that you can hold on to that might turn on in the second half of the season, kind of like J.K. Dobbins did last year, kind of slowly overtake that role as the number 1 and be the best running back on their team, but it just might take a while. So if you want to take him late, just know he might not be a plug-and-play early, but then again, we haven't seen a full game of any of these guys yet, so anything can change with it. But my next rookie that I think is Trey Sermon's teammate. It's going to be Trey Lance.
I saw Trey. I saw when we were looking over that. I saw Trey, and then I just totally forgot. But
yeah, Trey Lance is 49ers trade up to get him, so they obviously like him. You're not going to just trade up 4 or 5 spots to get a guy like that if you're not going to play him.
Yeah.
And my thing, him and Jimmy G, he's a good quarterback. Don't have anything against him.
Guy.
Very good looking guy. But I just don't. I think his time with the 49ers has come to an end. I think it's going to be Trey Lance's team, and having Kyle Shanahan at the top is where I think takes him to the next level. He makes quarterbacks look great. Trey Lance played, D1 AA, I guess is what it is, but I don't really care. There's not a huge difference between those two. There's some at North Dakota State, you're playing with kids who probably should be on D1 schools in the MAC or something, but decided I'm gonna go win myself a national championship
people
at North
actually
Dakota
want to play,
State.
and they got to play from the beginning. And like people grow in college, and you don't want to change it. So by the time you're like, oh, I can probably play in Power 5 conference, I'm like, I don't want to change that. So I'm just gonna stick here and have a chance to win a championship for them. So
Yeah, and that's why I think Trey Lance gives them the most dynamic quarterback they have. He can throw, he can run. His sophomore year, I think he didn't throw any touchdowns. Didn't throw any interceptions. Had 28 touchdowns, and he rushed for over 1,000 yards. So I think having a guy like that in the NFL has proven, like Lamar, it changes an offense. It changes the way a defense has to scheme against you. He makes it so dangerous when he leaves that pocket. People have to either decide, all right, I'm going to come down on the run, and he can just toss it up to the wide receiver, or they're going to have to take a risk and see how far he can scramble. So I think Trey Lance is one that he might not start week 1 again, but I think you see him eventually take over. And Kyle Shanahan has mentioned that no matter what, we will see Trey Lance this year. So I think it's inevitable to see at the end that he will eventually take over, and I think he will be the best one if he takes over early enough, and that's one guy. 2, you get Lay as well. So, I mean, all these guys are just they're iffy right now. They're not 100% the dude, but I think eventually they're going to be the dude, and you can take them late and hold on to them, and hopefully it pays off at the end.
yeah, unlike Nagy, Kyle Shanahan actually makes good decisions. So when he sees something that might not be set them up to win, he'll make the change. I think he definitely will. Like Garoppolo, you saw he was definitely hurt, but he can't make the throws like Trey Lance can. Like he can run, but then Trey Lance can actually throw the ball really far.
Right, yeah.
So
He'll be a game changer for them, and it's just when you have a coach like that, he makes anybody like Matt Ryan. He hasn't done anything really since Kyle Shanahan left. And that just shows how great he was. Took him to Super Bowl. And then, 28-3. But yeah, I think Kyle Shanahan is the ultimate game changer there for Trey Lance. So.
Yeah, and talking about the wide receivers too, like Samuel Ayuk, that's good. People throw
love
to.
Debo, love Ayuk.
Keep Kittle healthy too.
They kind of
and then you got Trey Sermon and Mostert from the backfield. You have so many people you can rely on that offense.
And that's why I think Mostert, Trey Sermon, I think will fight for a while for sure back there, and they're both going to give you different aspects of the game that you don't have every day. But yeah,
it's a great situation because then if you're not having the best game, their defense is pretty good too. So
the only thing that worries me is they don't have Robert Saleh anymore. Which, I mean, last year with their backups, the 2 they were rotating pretty much all year, they finished around 500, and that's solely because the defense was just so good, and Shanahan is just that much better coach.
Better coach. 100%. So next, I will go to someone that you can is actually being drafted in the late second round. I'm a big fan of him. Najee Harris for the Steelers. Definitely, I had a problem last year. So in the first round, remember I took Clyde Edwards-Helaire, rookie in the first round. Not something I like to do. I'm not big on taking rookies early, but for some reason this year I'm just huge on Najee Harris. Before even camp started, Steelers came out and they're like, "This is our dude. He'll be getting the ball 3 downs, and it's super hard to pass on that. He catches, he runs, he does it all." Only question is the Steelers' offensive line going to block like they did last year?
I mean, I think they will. The Steelers are they're a team that I feel like is always just going to be able to run the ball no matter what. They haven't been great last year with James Conner. He was just injury prone. But, I mean, looking at Najee Harris back in Alabama, I don't know how you can't love this guy. he had his draft party in a homeless shelter. He's all about the homeless, and he does everything that you want out of a back. He runs over people. He runs by people. He can catch the ball. He's an athlete. He's just everything you want. And I agree that I think taking rookies I do not like, especially rookie running backs, because I feel like they're always overhyped. I feel like this is kind of the first guy that we've seen with big expectations since probably Zeke was in the draft. And I think he'll be able to put up numbers like that. And with Big Ben, the Steelers have said they're going to be, he's a 3-down back, so you already know PPRs, he's probably going to catch the football. And that just makes him that much better of a game changer. I know you got to worry about the receivers they have on their team, but I still think Big Ben's getting old if he's not scrambling like he used to, so there might be more dump downs to a guy like Najee, who he can trust more too on swing passes, screens, and everything, and just simple drop off. So
it's weird. They got those 3 wide receivers, and if you get a young quarterback there, I would definitely be rethinking this. But you're not going to have Big Ben throw the ball 50 times.
No,
not 40 times. There's no way. Like,
I know he says he's feeling the best he ever has, but
no.
I don't know how much you can trust that after last year.
Yeah, he did a couple push-ups, and now he's like, I'm on a diet. Oh, yeah. So that's not going to happen. Last year, other thing I'm kind of worried about is, like Michael Carter, who's sharing the backfield, so he's not taking those hits nonstop. He's not getting all those attempts. Last year, Najee Harris had 251 attempts, had almost 1,500 yards, had 43 receptions, 425 receiving yards, 30 touchdowns. Beast. But if you think about getting hit each play, and especially for running backs, your potential is that first year all the way to maybe 4 or 5, and you're done. So if you can't ball out the first couple of years, it's really hard chance. And luckily, we can take him for this year. And if for Dynasty, I'm all about him as well. But it's definitely something to question. I actually found this since 2000. There's been 5 running backs that have been taken the first round from Alabama, and it's Sean Alexander, Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson, Josh Jacobs, and Najee Harris. Besides Trent Richardson, those are all pretty successful running backs. So I think definitely have to out of any running back, any rookie, I think Najee Harris is definitely the chance. You're getting him at the end, early second or early third. End of second. But at the same time, you can get Joe Mixon, Antonio Gibson. So I feel like Najee Harris might not be your one. So if you're getting one in the first round, I think Najee Harris could be that good second running back you get to complement the first one.
That's what I feel like with Antonio Gibson. I do like Antonio Gibson. I think the Washington football team's trending in the right direction. So I think he's one that I would place higher than Najee. But Joe Mixon, guy gets hurt every year. I like Joe Mixon, but would I take him over a guy with the potential of Najee Harris? No. Same with who else did you say?
Antonio Gibson, just Joe Mixon.
Yeah, so those two, yeah. But Najee Harris is a guy, even maybe like you said, a keeper league or a dynasty league, some guy you can draft late second, mid-second over a guy like Joe Mixon. Yeah. I would definitely consider, for sure.
Would you take, Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Clyde, any of them over him, or are you
So, Clyde, I don't know how to feel about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. There's just too many weapons on that team. Patrick Mahomes is always going to find his safety blanket in Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. And I think you have Mecole Hardman, who's kind of stepping up as well after losing Sammy Watkins. So I don't feel like I would take Najee over Clyde just because Clyde is just tough with him because they have so much going on, as well as, he couldn't get in the end zone last year. I don't know how many games we were watching when he was at the one and was just getting stuffed because he's too small, but I don't know. I would definitely take Najee over him. Swift is tough. It's the Lions. What can you trust with the Lions?
Yeah. He's their best player, though. Definitely Jared Goff likes to dump off hill. I think there's a lot of attempts there. Just it is the Lions. That's pretty much it.
That's what it comes down to. It's the Lions.
Yeah.
Do you trust that they're going to trust in a guy like DeAndre Swift, give him the workload and say run with it.
Yep.
Let's see what you can do. I know Dan Campbell's all about biting kneecaps and getting back to the old 3 yards in a cloud of dust football, but I just don't know if I can trust DeAndre Swift as much as you can.
Especially with Jared Goff back there.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what he's going to do.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't trust him. But, yeah, so, I don't know. Najee Harris, I like pretty high. I wouldn't reach for him in the first, but if he falls to you mid-second,
Yeah.
late second, you can get a guy like you can go Cook or Cook Najee. Why not take them there?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, if you end up with Barkley, that's a tough one to take Najee Harris because those are two big risks you're taking on. So that's where you almost want to go with, like, the Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
But if you can get the Dalvin Cook, the McCaffrey, if you can get Kamara, like, Najee Harris would be a great 1-2 punch, I believe.
Well, that's what, even with Kamara, I mean, it's just, I think it's tough even with him because you don't know whose quarterback's going to be and what it's going to look like.
That's a lot of times, a lot of people are talking about that. I think it's no longer, if it's Taysom Hill, they actually have time to practice, and I think Kamara's going to be good.
I think he'll be back.
But it's also like, but you also have like last year, he wasn't getting anything with him, so it's definitely tough.
That's right. You know that you've been seeing all the sleeper pick about Andrew Trotman being the next big guy? 0 catches.
Yep. I don't even.
I think he had one target. So yeah, big ceiling there for that guy.
Yeah, with the Saints, anyone outside Kamara, like, it's hard to. I know people are talking about Callaway being a sleeper, but
I mean he might be, but
that's no one I would draft.
The Saints are just, if Taysom Hill's honestly running back there, I would not. And that's the thing, Michael Thomas. I've done a couple mocks lately. He's been dropping 6th, 7th round.
Yeah,
would you take him? Let him sit on your IR?
Honest, I'd get that 2 wide receivers. Yeah, I would.
That's what I would do too. That's what. I mean, yeah, he might get traded.
He could get traded.
Bummer.
Like go to a.
Yeah, he'll go to a decent
really
team somewhere.
Really
but I guess him and I saw the other day him and Sean Payton just had a meeting to get rid of the little scuffles they've been having or the mistreatment. So I'm curious to see what's going to come out of that.
Yeah, I'm on Thomas's side there. They made him hold it off all year, and then they're like, "Hey, go get that surgery." And he's like, "No, like I'm gonna finish this out." And a lot of questions in that organization.
Very, very, very. But so those were our sleepers for this year. So now we're gonna finish up the show. Do you have any other news, Tim, that you want to talk about before we switch over to gambling?
I wouldn't say much news. We've been talking it off air. You actually didn't mention him. I was actually going to think you were going to talk about Myles Gaskin, and then the news came out today that there are going to be a three running back committee in that backfield. That sucks.
I just think that's dumb.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that's stupid. I do not trust Malcolm Brown. He had a chance last year with the Rams, and he had 2 good games, and after that he kind of disappeared. And so I just don't agree. I think that's crazy to me, so that changes everything about Myles Gaskin. He was supposed to be an RB1, getting picked in the 5th, 6th round, but 4th even. So 4 through 6, really depending what you're in and where you're getting picked. But now I don't even know. You shouldn't take him there because, I mean, it's Brown, Ahmed, and then him.
Yeah.
Ahmed, just as talented, can run, catch, but I think Myles Gaskin was the high point of that running back room, but after this first preseason game, I'm hoping not to get too much hype over it. Hopefully it's just like, hey guys, look, we have Malcolm Brown. Trade me something for him or something like that because
I definitely can see that happening. They're trying to be like, hey, this guy, he's still good. Like, give us a draft pick for him, and then we'll go with Gaskin who we want. Tua there is definitely questionable with the running back, so it's always...
Tua's one I do not like Tua. Love Mike Gesicki. Love him to death. Think he's a great tight end, Penn State alum, but cannot stand Tua Tagovailoa or whatever freaking name is. Yeah, so I just think Tua is unreliable. I think we saw bits of that last year where Fitzmagic had to come in and do his thing and save him.
He was doing perfectly fine.
That's why I think it's hard. Jalen Waddle. I do like Jalen Waddle, but I just don't trust Tua enough to put him in there. Like, he's one of the best receivers in the draft. Probably top 3. I think he might, and he was the better receiver of him and Devontae Smith, but he just got hurt last year. It's just crazy to think that Tua has now. He's got him, Devontae Parker. Now you got these 3 running backs. You have a solid tight end option there. Their defense is solid. I'm just curious to see what they're going to do. And then if they're going to try trade, what they're going to do. Because I know they were looking at Watson for a while, but who knows what's going to come out of
I think this
that.
is definitely going to be Tua's year because he has what Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker, I think, is past his prime, but you do have Waddle. You got Will Fuller, who's going to be the best deep ball catcher you can get.
Just got worried about him getting hurt.
Yeah, so
Hopefully he doesn't take any more steroids.
So I think if Tua can't make that progression this year, having Gaskin back there, their 3 back committee, whatever they want to do, and having a great tight end, there's going to be a lot of questions going into next year, and so it's definitely I think I'm definitely be watching with the Dolphins, and hopefully it turns out because I think then when they're good, you have the Patriots in there, Jets are up and coming, the Bills. I think that can be a really great division.
Yeah, I think people are sleeping on the Patriots. I think they're a team that will. I mean, it's Bill. They'll come out and do something. I think Mac Jones takes over, and then I think he can win just enough games to be competitive.
Yep.
Manage a game enough to where they can win. I mean, Cam Newton, I hope the Patriots get rid of him. Maybe just bring him in as like a goal line guy.
He's getting his money. It'll be an old line, like that, 1 yard line kind of stuff.
Here, take this to the promised land for me. So
yeah, that's about it.
But yeah, I mean, it's just we'll have little breakdowns throughout. I mean, just a little bit of each division, hopefully, and then we're gonna try to do a mock draft here too. But yeah, I don't know. That division I think is with the Bills, Patriots, Dolphins. It'll be exciting, and then I don't know. The one division I'm not excited to watch is the Eagles, Cowboys.
I think it's going to be more of a you can't go 500 unless you tie. So it's going to be like a 9-8 kind of thing. Whoever wins that division.
That's why I mean, with the Giants, you taking anybody? Kenny Galladay?
With him getting hurt, I don't know. I still don't know. I just don't know how I feel about Daniel Jones. I feel like he has it, but you can't see. You just don't see it yet. And Barkley, it's all about Barkley.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy and they can go through him, I think that helps Daniel Jones a lot. That gets that just opens up their offense altogether. I think that takes the next step. But I believe the Redskins are
The best.
the best in that division. I know a lot of people are on the Cowboys, but I still think the Redskins with that defense, they're going to be the best.
The defense is good. It just you got to see how that quarterback play is going to turn out. I mean, Dwayne Haskins is gone, so I mean I like Fitzpatrick, but how many games can he win you? I mean, and the Cowboys, that defense, there's no way they get better there. But
and the defense is not good. It's all about Zeke though. So
Zeke, Dak, CD, Amari. I mean, I get why you take them. They're explosive.
I think definitely. I would just stay away from the Giants and the Eagles. It's not their year. They're really going to try to fix a few things. I can see the Giants maybe next year get a couple more picks. Definitely want to see where Barkley's coming from. Just see what's going on with him.
I feel like he'll come back and be his old self again. He's too good not to. So that's where he's one. I think you can't go wrong picking him up because he's late, or he's probably going to go that first 5 picks, but it's someone I would take for sure because of what we've seen in the past. So, but on our next one, we'll go over a little mock draft here, and then we'll also talk different players and everything. But to end the show, Tim, let's go ahead and give some gambling picks for the future here of the league. So some Super Bowl predictions, your MVP prediction, maybe Rookie of the Year.
Yep, I'll start with the Super Bowl. So I am big on the Bills this year. I think this is the year they beat the Chiefs. I think that Josh Allen takes that next step. I think the only question is that running game. But last year they had the same running game, and it didn't really stop them. So you got Stephon Diggs. I think definitely to see how that defense holds up. I think they win that division pretty easily. 1-2 seed, hopefully get that bye. I also picked another one. Is I'm on the FU tour Aaron Rodgers is on, and I have the Packers at 13-1 as well to win the Super Bowl. I think that if you ever want to write a book about a quarterback and just saying FU to the world, it's definitely about Aaron Rodgers winning a Super Bowl and giving it to his team and then leaving his team. So that's can't do much about that, but I'm definitely on the Packers. At least getting to the Super Bowl.
So winning the NFC, you got the Packers.
I think 13-1 odds right now. I think that's pretty good.
So you think they go for it at the one next time, or?
Yep.
Oh, not kicking a field goal?
No, field goals can't.
Oh, okay.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I do like the Packers. I think Rodgers, Adams, Jones, they're going to be just like they were last year. They're going to pick it up, and their defense is solid. And you got his Randall Cobb back, Now I just got to wait to see they bring Clay Matthews back.
What Clay Matthews?
But
what's he gonna do?
big Bills fan, love Josh Allen, love Stephon Diggs. Won me in the league last year, so big fan of Stephon Diggs. But I think Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, they'll have to have a better year. And I think if they can have a better year, they will be able to contend for that. The Chiefs are where I'm going for the Super Bowl just because of Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
And their defense is solid. You got Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Houston? Yeah. He's on there still. And they're just, I don't know, just like the Chiefs. Especially with Tyreek, Travis Kelce, and then Clyde, I think, might be able to throw some stuff in here and there. But you can't go wrong with Patrick Mahomes. I think the Bills are maybe a year away. I think one more little loss like they had. Then finally maybe going to get a solid running back in a draft or something. Changing them, but I would like the Bills to win their division. That's who I would pick to win the division. I think they are talented, but I could also see them beating the Chiefs. They're a couple plays away last year from doing it. So I think Josh Allen will continue to grow, and Diggs is getting better. I think Singletary looked good in their preseason game the other night. Now, that's not saying that'll continue, but I think he'll be solid. So I don't hate them winning their division, but I have the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. So they're at plus 475 right now, so I like them. And then my MVP this year, though, was Josh Allen.
Yeah, I was actually typing that, and I just think he takes the next step. He has one of the strongest arms in the league, if not the strongest.
And he can run, so
He also has that little. He's kind of like, he's not like Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson definitely runs a lot more, but he just has that better quarterback instinct of just knowing where to pass to, and it doesn't help. It also helps that he has Stephon Diggs to throw to, so that's always great.
Cole Beasley's pretty solid.
There are some people that are just not on the Josh Allen train, thinking he'll take that step back this year. It has kind of come back to reality because he was a beast last year, but I honestly think he takes that next step. But for me, I went keeping on the hate train. Aaron Rodgers at 10-1. I took him at MVP. If he did, I think he does what he did last year. He gets Randall Cobb, his safety blanket. Then you got Devontae Adams.
That's why I've never seen a team throw a 1-yard fade more than the Packers did last year.
Because it works perfectly. Like, when teams do it, they're like overthrowing it, because you don't want to intercept it. Some reason Aaron Rodgers knows like that.
And what, he didn't have Adams for 3 games last year?
Yeah.
2-3 games. So his numbers could only possibly go up.
Adams stays healthy. Like, I just don't see how anyone.
That's I think he's top 3.
Yep.
Him, Tyreek. I think you got to put Hopkins up there too. Those 3 they're different from the rest. I think Diggs is making his way up there, but those 3 are just.
Yep, yeah, I was on Fantasy Footballers, and they actually have Devontae Adams number 1.
That's why
over Tyreek.
See, I like Tyreek more just because of Mahomes, and Tyreek's the fastest human being I've ever seen on a football field, so it's very tough to go over him. But I mean, Devontae Adams, I can see why you can go 1-2 with either one.
Yep, I think whatever you get there is like you're fine.
Darn, 7 went Tyreek. Darn, you got him Adams. Bummer. But yeah, so that's what I don't hate Aaron Rodgers winning again. I don't know. Josh Allen, I feel like Lamar's won it. Rodgers got it last year. Mahomes has got it.
And
I feel like
it's
the
not-
league's kind of turning into this. Well, we don't want to keep giving it to these guys over and over again.
Yeah.
So, like, if Allen throws 30-plus touchdowns and runs for so much and has the same efficiency rates he did last year, I don't see why they wouldn't keep him in that conversation again this year. But, yeah, so
And I think even there's a chance. I don't think he wins it this year, but there's a chance Justin Herbert for that great of offense.
he could
They
easily
could
win it.
definitely, if the wide receivers stay healthy, if Eckler stays healthy, that can help him out. There's a chance that he can.
I mean,
sneak right there.
I'm probably going to throw money on him just to see because he is one that can easily pick up MVP votes if he puts up the same season last year, type of season he had last year. So, I mean,
It's,
any one of these guys I would take for sure, but I mean, I just feel like they're not. It's just hard to go back to back MVPs. It's different in basketball where you can see that because the names are so big. In the NFL, it's just like
I think people are loving Aaron Rodgers though. They're all on his side.
his side. Well,
Yeah, so-
I mean, yeah,
But it is also hard for Herbert if you don't win your division. Like, are you giving MVP to
And he's
a guy
gotta go-
that doesn't
yeah.
win a division? So
got to play Mahomes.
yeah, twice. So that's
If you lose those two and Mahomes outperforms you, it's like why would we pick
like, why
him
pick him. Yeah. So
when Mahomes
you're not
is
even
Mahomes?
you're not even the best quarterback in that division.
But I also feel like Mahomes has got ridiculous amount of pressure
Yeah.
or like standards. Like if you're not throwing 50 plus, you're not going to be in the conversation. But yeah, so I'll do my rookie of the year. Got Trey Sermon. I think he will come on late,
What's the odds on that one?
2,500.
Okay.
So it's just I like Trey Sermon. I think Raheem's gonna get hurt like he always does, and I think he'll eventually take over. I hope he does and becomes big time, and so that's who I have there. And then my last one is I got two more. The over under. I took the Bears at over 7.5. I don't know why I keep doing it to myself,
That's
but I'm gonna keep betting them.
It's tough because I am going to be a big fan of Fields when he comes in, but like if Nagy's waiting till what week 6, 7?
But 7.5 wins.
Yeah,
That's-
but
you don't even have to go-
You're playing the Packers twice. You're gonna be playing the Vikings twice, and then it's just like
They're bound to win one of those. They're not going to beat the Packers, but they'll beat the Vikings
I'll
probably
give it
once.
But it's just I don't know. I think it's a tough. It'll be a tough way, but 7.5. If you think because you're playing 17, so you
That's what I
really,
mean.
Like
You got to win.
100, they'll go 7-10.
8.
I think they go like.
You go
Gotta go
8-9.
8-9. You
I
have
would
to go.
think so. Their defense is too good not to go
Yeah.
8-9, unless big injuries happen, which I hope they don't. But
Yeah.
that's what. And then the last one that I have is the comeback player of the year. I know you don't have this one, but
No, I wrote one down.
I have C.J. Mosley. Dude hasn't played football 2 years. I was watching this little documentary on him the other day. Guess where he's been working out in for the last 2 years?
Where at?
His parents' basement. All he's been doing is lifting weights, sleeping in his parents' basement. His dad was like, he's been here 23 hours a day. 2 years, 23 hours a day. I don't know what he does for that other hour,
Holy cow.
but I think he's on a mission, and he's with the Jets, who I think he can change that team around, but that's why I picked him. And he's at, I didn't get the odds, but he's my guy. I think he will. I mean, it's going to be tough if Dak throws any ounce of touchdowns or anything. He's going to win it. But C.J. Mosley coming out, I think he had an ACL surgery, and he sat out because of COVID. I think he'll win it. After hearing that all he did for 23 hours for the last 2 years is sleep, work out in his parents' basement, I'm taking that.
Can you even bet on him in DraftKings? Is he
Yes.
even really?
I just forgot the odds.
Huh. That I did not know that. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah. So with that comeback player here, I took Dak. Like he's at plus 210. You're not getting like probably the same odds as CJ
No.
knows, but for him being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and if he can stay
It's-
healthy, and they can maybe
It's a
make
story written for
yeah,
it.
and they can make it to the playoffs. Like, how does he not win it?
Yeah.
It's
I think if he does anything like he was doing at the start of last year, you could see comeback player of the year. If their defense is bad as they were and he was putting up numbers like he
Yeah.
was, you can even see MVP this upcoming year. But I don't know, it's just tough to see. But that's yeah, I I want C.J. Mosley to win it because that story, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's
But,
who you want the Dax
Dak's probably going to win it. I mean, at 210, that's pretty
It's
locked
still yeah,
in
it's still
without injury and everything. So
yeah. That's the tough part because with Dak, that was a pretty big injury. So hopefully he can stay healthy. And I don't know. I feel like if he just stays healthy, he wins it. Like unless he does so bad, they have to be benched.
that's what I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
Yep. So for the rookie of the year, actually, I went with your guy Trey Lance at 7-1.
Don't hate that.
So because if he definitely comes in, week 1, week 2, definitely starts out. He's on a great team. He's in a great situation. I think it's hard. The only reason with Trevor Lawrence is because he's starting. Without injury, he's starting all 6, 7.
And he's the number 1 pick.
Yep, number 1 pick. He'll throw 20 if he can throw 20 touchdowns.
I think he'll throw 20.
It's gonna be hard for him.
17 games, I think. Yeah.
But if Trey Lance can put up the same numbers and even make it to the playoffs,
they'll definitely have a better chance. I think that playoff thing is what could separate them for sure.
Yeah, the Jaguars aren't going to the playoffs this year, but I think if you see highlights of Trevor Lawrence actually having some good games, there's a good chance he does take that. But Trey Lance, I think, was 7-1 odds, and maybe Trevor Lawrence does get injured. He just has those bad games. Trey Lance is I feel like a great pick.
That's right. Yeah, I definitely could see Trey Lance doing that, but I also think Trey Sermon might be a guy who takes over just willingly.
The only thing I have a problem with that is it's so hard to win the MVPs, offensive rookie of the years if you're not a quarterback.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah,
it's so hard to do.
Unless you're putting up numbers like Justin Jefferson, but still got passed over by Herbert because Herbert was Herbert. So yeah, I mean quarterbacks definitely take the hierarchy in almost everything. So, but yeah, so those are our picks for this week.
Actually, I got.
You got one more.
Team totals.
Oh, which one?
So I got Packers over 10.
Jesus. When did you? They're over 13.5 now.
No, they're 10 on DraftKings.
They're still 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I took the over 9 for the Titans. I think Titans win that division.
That's right.
Because I'm thinking out of 17. So if you have them at 9, if they push, that's 9-8. You think the Titans with that offense are going 9-8? I don't think so.
No.
I think
but they did just lose their offensive coordinator.
They did.
But they added Julio. You have A.J. Brown. Tannehill, who is a good quarterback.
They also did hire within the team for offensive coordinator. So I think if they see what they saw last year, hopefully kind of keep it to what they had. Hopefully that defense picks up because that defense sucked.
Yeah. I think they made some moves to get better, but it's still not going to be.
I think they're playing the Texans twice. You play the Jaguars twice. That's 4 wins.
In one of the worst divisions, yes.
That's 4 wins.
The Texans, who knows what that's going on over there? They're abomination.
That might be one of the worst teams.
So, but yeah, I don't hate those. I mean, I was talking with someone the other day about the Titans at 9. I would think they get 10 wins easily. You got Derrick Henry, Julio, and A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown was great without Julio, and you just add Julio. What's he going to be? Because, I mean, I'd double Julio still. I'd take him away because he's just so.
Yeah, and then I gave you Brown open.
Bummer. Man, here's Derrick Henry tackling him.
Yeah.
He's 6-something, 200+ pounds.
Yeah, I feel like 9's. I feel like if they even push with 9, that's not a good season for the Titans.
No, they especially playing that division. You got 4 wins probably guaranteed with the Jaguars and Texans. So I don't hate those picks, but that will do it here today. On our next episode, we are going to try to do a 10-team or 12-team PPR mock draft. So you'll definitely want to hop on over to that YouTube channel, check it out, and we'll break down the players while we're drafting where we think and everything. But yeah, so if you guys like the episode, feel free to like it. Leave some comments. It'll be on Spotify as well. So feel free to check us out in the next one. We're just going to try to get it out, Friday?
I would
Saturday?
Say
Friday, Saturday?
For the weekend,
yeah. So we're going to watch some games, kind of pick up, and then try to do a little breakdown next week of 2 divisions or 3 divisions and teams and players that we like and everything, and try to give you some more information before the final week comes up here in 2 weeks. So
Yeah, it's coming so fast.
yeah, we appreciate you guys listening, and hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Fantasy Football Futures. Thanks, guys.